Welcome to a deep dive into, the shadows of modern finance. We've got a really heavy stack of research in front of us today.
Yeah, lots of analytical notes covering private credit, alternative finance, and, specifically tokenized lending.
Right, which is just massively buzzed about right now, and I want to directly welcome you, the listener, to this exploration. Our mission for today's deep dive is to, strip away the shiny techno-utopian hype of the whole blockchain boom.
Exactly. We need to examine what actually happens when tokenized private credit goes completely wrong.
Okay, let's unpack this, because everyone right now is talking about the efficiency of tokenization, right?
Yeah, constantly.
The narrative is that putting real-world assets on-chain is this perfect revolution. But every single financial innovation carries a hidden cost.
Always. And usually, that cost is buried deep in the architecture itself.
Yeah.
The foundational promise here is transparency. You take an opaque asset class, private loans, corporate receivables, and you put it on a public ledger.
So instead of getting a boring PDF report once a quarter, you get this real-time, second-by-second dashboard.
Right. But transparency is just a lens. It doesn't actually change the object you're looking at.
No, it doesn't.
Tokenizing a bad loan just gives you a really high-definition view of a default. So while tokenization brings transparency, it doesn't erase risk. It exposes it.
Wow, yeah. Which brings us to the first major structural reality we need to look at. To understand these new risks, we have to start with the oldest risk in finance.
The borrower simply not paying you back.
Exactly. Yeah. Because putting a loan on a blockchain doesn't change human nature, right? And it certainly doesn't prevent a business from failing.
No, not at all. Lending carries intrinsic risk that you just cannot code away. If the borrower's business fails, that digital token in your wallet doesn't magically print money.
Right. The underlying real-world loan is still dead.
Yep. The physical collateral has to be seized. And the incredibly tedious, real-world legal process of liquidating that collateral.
It still takes a massive amount of time.
Exactly. You cannot liquidate a physical warehouse with a smart contract.
But the sources we're looking at point out that while tokenization doesn't protect the investor from defaults, it fundamentally changes how those defaults are managed.
Oh, completely.
You get real-time performance data, automated payment tracking, completely transparent delinquency reporting, and faster enforcement triggers.
Yeah, and that's a double-edged sword. Seeing problems sooner means investors react faster. There's a quote from the source material that I love here. It says, "Tokenization introduces liquid reactions to illiquid events."
Liquid reactions to illiquid events. I mean, it's like putting a glass floor in a spooky basement.
It's a glass floor.
Yeah. You can see the monsters, the defaults instantly, which is great, but it might make everyone panic and run for the exit at the exact same time.
That is a perfect way to put it. What's fascinating here is how this newfound visibility actually creates volatility in secondary markets.
Because everyone is watching the exact same glass floor.
Right. You're transforming a historically slow-moving asset class into something hyper-reactive. In traditional private credit, a struggling loan is a slow problem.
Handled quietly behind closed doors.
Exactly. But on a blockchain, with continuous real-time pricing, a rumor can trigger an algorithmic sell-off in milliseconds.
You get the chaotic velocity of crypto trading grafted onto the agonizingly slow reality of commercial bankruptcy.
And that forces mark-to-market losses. A fund holding that token might face immediate margin calls, forcing them to sell healthy assets just to cover the panic.
Which is terrifying, but reacting fast to the monsters under the glass floor is only helpful if you are actually seeing reality.
Right.
What happens if the glass is distorted? Because transparency depends entirely on data.
It's all about the data. If the on-chain data is wrong or incomplete or just manipulated, the whole system breaks.
The sources outline some major data failures like incorrect payment records, delayed updates, misreported collateral values.
And faulty Oracle feeds.
Right, oracles. Let me push back on this whole premise for a second. If the blockchain is supposed to be this ultimate, immutable truth machine, isn't it terrifying that a faulty Oracle feed could permanently etch a lie into the ledger?
It is absolutely terrifying, and that's the reality. Tokenized lending is only as transparent as the off-chain data feeding it.
Because a blockchain is blind to the real world, right?
Exactly. It relies on Oracle's basically data bridges to tell it what's happening outside. If an Oracle fetches a valuation that says an aircraft fleet is suddenly worth $0 due to a glitch,
the smart contract just executes.
Yes, it doesn't have human judgment. It instantly triggers a liquidation protocol based on a bad data ping.
So tokenization actually amplifies data risk.
Massively. Because once bad data hits the chain, it becomes a permanent record. This is why data integrity is the lifeblood of this new system.
So high-quality issuers must have to invest heavily in fixing this.
Oh, they spend a fortune on it. They need rigorous audit trails, redundant Oracle networks, and independent third-party verification.
Basically triple-checking the glass floor to make sure it's real.
Right, because if the data is garbage, the pristine blockchain architecture just becomes a machine for executing errors at light speed.
Okay, so you need perfect data to manage defaults. But perfect data means nothing if the legal ground beneath the loan suddenly shifts or, collapses entirely.
This is where things get really messy. Regulatory risk is easily the most unpredictable element in this entire space.
The research outlines so many layers of friction: securities, classification, custody rules, transfer restrictions, KYCML requirements,
and jurisdictional conflicts. Regulators across the globe are still trying to figure out what tokenized credit actually is.
Right, like is it a security, a digital asset, a fund share?
Or just a loan participation. Depending on who you ask, the rules change entirely. And a sudden regulatory shift can freeze liquidity overnight.
Or force a massive restructuring, or just shut down platforms entirely, which brings up structural risk. The tokens are wrapped in these complex legal structures, right?
Yes, structural wrappers. SPVs, or special purpose vehicles, trusts, fund structures.
So if you buy a tokenized loan, you don't actually own the loan.
Usually no.
Yeah.
You own a token representing a fractional share of an SPV, which holds the loan docs.
It's like building a state-of-the-art bullet train, the token, but you're laying the tracks over 5 different countries that can't even agree on what a train is, while relying on a sketchy bridge, the SPV, to hold it all up.
That's a great analogy. If we connect this to the bigger picture, tokenization doesn't remove legal risk from the equation. It merely redistributes it.
So if the SPV fails, the token fails.
Exactly. And custody is massive here.
Yeah.
Who holds the actual paper loan docs? Who legally controls the physical collateral?
Because a digital token can't walk into a physical courthouse and demand the keys to a warehouse.
Right. You need a human trustee. And if that setup is flawed, the bankruptcy court won't care about your cryptographic proof. They'll liquidate your collateral to pay off someone else.
So if the legal wrappers and regulations are the tracks, someone still has to actually operate the station, right?
Yes, the platforms.
And despite the whole promise of decentralized finance removing middlemen, tokenized lending has simply introduced a new one.
A highly tech-bill one. The platform itself.
And these platforms carry immense risk. Smart contract vulnerabilities, governance failures, insolvency.
Operational breakdowns. Cybersecurity threats.
Here's where it gets really interesting. If a platform gets hacked or goes completely bankrupt, does the investor just end up holding a useless digital receipt for a real-world asset they can no longer reach?
This raises an important question. It's the critical difference between access and ownership in digital custody.
Okay, break that down for me.
If the platform's interface goes down or the smart contract is drained, the physical underlying asset might still exist perfectly fine in the real world.
Like the borrower is still making their monthly payments to a bank account.
Exactly. But the digital door to access those payments is permanently bricked. You own the economic right, but you've lost the mechanism to get your money.
Which means due diligence on the platform is now just as critical as due diligence on the borrower.
Non-negotiable. If the platform is unstable, the credit quality doesn't matter.
Wow. Okay, so with all these moving parts, borrowers, data, regulators, platforms, how does anyone safely navigate this space?
The source material provides a brilliant, basically a survival checklist for this.
Okay, let's walk the listener through this 5-point checklist. Number 1, underwriting risk.
Right. Who originated the loan? What's their track record in traditional finance? Are they a seasoned credit fund or just a tech startup?
Number 2, default risk.
What exactly is the collateral? And more importantly, what is the documented real-world recovery process if things go sideways?
Number 3 is regulatory risk.
Is the token compliant? What jurisdictions are involved? If the real estate is in New York, but the SPV is in the Cayman Islands, whose laws apply?
God, what a headache. Number 4, data integrity.
Is the performance data audited? Are the oracles reliable? Are there circuit breakers to stop automated liquidations if a data feed glitches?
And finally, number 5, platform risk.
Is the smart contract audited? Is the tech platform financially solvent?
The ultimate rule they highlight is so simple but so important. If any of these are unclear, pause.
Do not proceed. The yield is not worth the structural risk.
So, what does this all mean? It really requires a mindset shift for you as an investor. You have to demand answers to all these technical and legal questions before putting a dollar in.
Absolutely.
Because to summarize our whole deep dive today, tokenization does not erase risk.
It exposes it. Default risk becomes highly visible.
Regulatory risk becomes incredibly complex.
Transparency becomes a technical data problem.
Platform risk becomes structural.
I want to leave the listener with the central quote from the source material because it nails it. Risk isn't the enemy, blindness is.
Risk isn't the enemy, blindness is. That is so good.
It really is.
And before we wrap, I want to give you, the listener, a final provocative thought to mull over, kind of building on that idea of liquid reactions.
Oh, I like where this is going.
If tokenization allows panic to spread at the literal speed of light on-chain, right, executed by automated code, could a completely transparent tokenized credit market actually be far more susceptible to sudden systemic bank runs than the traditional opaque financial system we complain about today?
That is a terrifying thought.
Right. Something to think about the next time you're staring at a real-time yield dashboard. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
1, 2,